Today's video is all about creating power, particularly in the transition, and looking at kind of the squat move and what that does for us and how we can use the ground to create power. The squat move, I think, is useful to practice and it's useful to get a feel of sensation, and why it's useful is basically because we're going to use the ground a lot better to produce power. So the sense of pushing down will allow us to push off and give it a little squeeze. So top of the backswing, drop the basket. Keep watching to learn a great drill to create this squat and why it's important. Okay, the squat move in the downswing. Now, I can show you players with the squat move that do this successfully and players that don't do it. So it's kind of one of these. There's no one method, one style, one swing fits all, and I never want that to come across in any of my videos, so hopefully it doesn't. So the squat move, I think, is useful to practice and it's useful to get a feel of sensation, and why it's useful is basically because we're going to use the ground a lot better to produce power. So what we're talking about. So as I get to the top of my backswing, if I'm able to squat a little bit into the ground, my knees separate away a fraction, I am essentially pushing into the ground. Now when I push into the ground, it means I can push off the ground later in my downswing to create more power, okay? And if you think of anything, if I go to jump, okay, I'm pushing down before I jump up. And if I go to jump and rotate, I push down and then rotate. So the sense of pushing down will allow us to push off. So the squat move in the downswing, quite simply, is the pushing down facet. And you'll see quite a few pros on TV, they'll actually lose a little bit of height in this first stage of their downswing, the transition kind of area. Then as we rotate, this left leg wants to get some length to it. So for me, there's a squat and bump kind of at the same time. My knee bumps across a little bit and there's a kind of fraction of a squat. Again, I can show you players that don't do this, but I can show you players that do. The idea is the squat and the rotation and the raising is almost the same kind of time, but there is a fraction of a squat and separation, okay? Then importantly, there's the raise. Without the raise, it's no good, okay? We need to push down and push up. We don't want to be hitting the ground before the ball. We want to make sure this all kind of happens as we kind of shallow that golf club, then push up and rotate into our impact position, with the shaft leaning forward. That's exactly what we want to do. So how can we feel this, right? So quick drill for you, and we're going to use a range basket here. I know some ranges don't have baskets, but you can use a ball, but this is a range basket. I'm going to put this between my thighs, okay, and give it a little squeeze. So top of the backswing, drop the basket, push up. And I almost want to feel now in this push up feel, this right thigh, trail thigh, is pushing right across to my lead thigh, and it's not going towards the golf ball at all, it's pushing across and up this way. So it's creating that kind of rotation and extension this way to deliver the club onto the golf ball as I'd like to do. So let's do that once more. So top of the backswing, squat, push the thigh into the lead thigh. That's the kind of action. So what I'd ask you to do is make quite a few practice swings getting that kind of sensation and feeling. We can try a ball with it, but it's very difficult to drop it when we're trying to make contact with the ball. And again, the shot might be awful. So as long as we accept that, and it's important when we're doing things like this, we have a critical, what I call, learning outcome. If the learning outcome is to change our pattern of movement, and that's what we do, regardless of where the ball goes, that's absolutely fine. When we're after a critical performance outcome, which is when we're really trying to hit the ball well and straight in a certain place, then it's really important that the ball does well and we're not having so much technical thoughts, okay? So let's try a ball. I'm not saying this is going to be great, but let's try a ball. So I'm going to try and squat this basket in my downswing. Okay, managed to make contact. Felt a little bit funky, if I'm honest. I quite enjoyed it, but it felt a bit funky. So for me, the squat, if we can do it correctly, it can provide a little bit more power. It can also help us just shallow that club correctly as well, to stop us getting ahead of the ball too much with our upper body, which some golfers do. We get this kind of look the head forward, and sometimes the head works back at contact. It can help that synchronization of creating that power in the downswing through that squat. And even do what I'm doing here, putting your lead hand on the golf club like this, like a walking stick, and then feeling that kind of separation and rotation, and then push forward and up. So it's kind of still giving you this fraction of bump, but working a bit more squat bump at the same kind of time. It's ever so slightly squatting before we go forward, ever so slightly, more in transition as well. So have a go at this drill. Hope you enjoyed this video on the squat move and the downswing. Hope you give the drill a try and it's a bit of fun. If you have enjoyed it, please click like down below. I really appreciate that. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Got regular content coming every week on a variety of subjects.